How do you say you're fired in Russian? Well, it's come to this. It's time to talk about Russia. And we know things might have changed since we recorded this, but we've been putting it off like an STD test because we thought if we can't see anything, we're cool, right? Well, something happened. We're having a flare-up, and it's not going away. Trump fired the FBI director, James Comey, the man who was investigating the Trump campaign's connections to Russia. Now, to anyone with a working knowledge of history or even just a barely functioning ability to think critically about stuff, that sounds like a cover-up. The recommendation for Comey's dismissal came from the Department of Justice, headed by Jeff Sessions, who recused himself of investigating any Russia ties because of his own Russia ties. Or wait, maybe the order came from Trump himself. Or who knows? Maybe it came from Eric Trump's morning bowl of alphabet cereal.
I eat the marshmallows and tell Daddy the rest.
Many news outlets will say, here's what we know about Russia, and that's great. We, however, are vastly understaffed, and we were working on another episode when this story fell in all of our laps, because apparently Trump can't fire someone on a Friday like a normal person. The richest part of this whole charade has been the administration's rationale for why Comey got the axe, which was over his handling of Hillary's emails. You know, the thing that helped get Trump elected, which means Trump just I'm with her'd his own cover-up. Now, Comey wasn't a popular guy, which is odd for an FBI director, because J. Edgar Hoover was so cuddly. But even Edward Snowden, the whistleblower hiding in Russia who Comey's been trying to lock up for years, tweeted, "If I can oppose his firing, so can you." Edward Snowden added, "Tired of borscht, please send cookies." Suffice it to say, the pieces of this Russia story all fit together way too perfectly. And yet, every time a connection is made, the Trump administration and the Russians want it to disappear. It's like a game of Tetris. There's Michael Flynn, Paul Manafort, Carter Page, Sally Yates, Jeff Sessions, and we don't have time to connect them together before another piece is released. And the faster they come out, the more frantic we look piecing them together. And the more frantic we seem, the crazier we look, because where the f*** am I gonna put this Devin Nunes piece? And nothing Trump does makes this look any less like a cover-up. Rather than allay any fears about Comey's firing being connected to Russia, Trump took the Sheryl Sandberg route and leaned way in.
On the heels of the firing of the FBI director, the president had only one event listed on his public schedule today, a private meeting with Vladimir Putin's top diplomat.
Russia's top diplomat visiting Washington, only hours after President Trump fires the FBI director. Awkward timing for the White House.
You say awkward, I say slap to the face. Let's call the whole thing shady. But the awkwardness is completely lost on this administration. To think Trump cares how any of this looks is to think that while he was firing Comey, he wasn't also simultaneously eating chocolate cake, ordering an airstrike on civilians, and live tweeting himself grabbing a And when the Russian prime minister was asked about the awkwardness of the timing of their meeting, seeing as Comey was just fired, here's how he reacted.
Was he fired? You're kidding. You're kidding.
Wow, dude. That wasn't just sarcastic dismissal, that was up. Also, take a look at Tillerson. It's like he's saying, come on, Lavrov, shake it off. Let's go make some money. But then, guess who else shows up to the Oval Office meeting? Sergei Kislyak, the Russian ambassador who's at the center of the Trump-Russia investigations. And the only reason we know they met is because even though American media was barred from entering the Oval Office, a photographer from an official Russian news agency was there, and he took a bunch of photos. Oh, to be a fly on that wall, or under that neck meat. We can only assume the meeting started with lighting cigars off burning documents and ended with a jowl measuring contest. Even Putin seems to be enjoying this debacle. When he was asked what effect Comey's firing will have on US-Russia relations, Putin said this.
Пожалуйста, он выглядит смешным для меня.
Your question looks very funny for me. Don't be angry with me.
Мы не имеем к этому никакого отношения.
We have nothing to do with it.
Guys, could you be any more obvious? The translator can barely contain himself. They look like they're gonna go back to the locker room and be like, Broski, that was hilarious. By the way, Putin is wearing a hockey uniform because he's about to play a high-stakes game, where if the opposing team doesn't purposefully but believably lose, they'll be flown to a black site in Siberia. Meanwhile, America's Phil Pierogi stood by the claim that there was no secret Russian motive behind Comey's firing, because Comey wasn't investigating him. And by the way, Comey told him that 3 whole times.
He said, "You are not under investigation." So he said it once at dinner, and then he said it twice during phone calls.
Did you call him?
In one case, I called him. In one case, he called me.
And in one case, he told me while braiding my hair under a rainbow surrounded by baby unicorns. Okay, that might have been a dream.
Not under investigation? Comey confirmed back in March that the FBI was actively looking into the Trump campaign's ties to Russia.
You were the centerpiece of the Trump
Well,
campaign.
all
so
I
was
can
he
tell
being
you is,
truthful when he says
I
you
know
were
one
under
thing. I
investigation?
know that I'm not under investigation. Me, personally. I'm not talking about campaigns. I'm not talking about anything else. I'm not under investigation.
If I got in trouble for every crime my name was attached to, I would have never been elected president, right? Right? This is the most inept cover-up ever. It's like wiping your fingerprints off with your own blood. Nothing removes fingerprints like my DNA. Wherever the investigation goes from here, you have to wonder if Trump even has a plan, or if this is it. Maybe this freak show of stupidity, which further punts any real investigation into Russia farther down the road, is actually a brilliant strategy. Trump knows he looks like a Kremlin goon, and he doesn't care. Because at this point, the distraction of having a cover-up is part of the cover-up. When you have a president who makes up his own reality and who so blatantly rubs this in the face of the American public, you have to ask yourself but one question. Are you a Trumpist? Are you, dear American, when faced with all the evidence from every news agency, dozens of sources within the intelligence community, congresspeople, and your dead grandmother who appeared to you in a dream last night talking about Russia collusion, are you instead going to believe your leader? Are you going to remain loyal to Trump, despite the fact that he has done literally nothing to earn your trust other than say, "Trust me," over and over again? If Trump says Obama was born in Kenya, climate change is a Chinese hoax, and the moon is made of green cheese, are you going to question that? Or are you going to be like, must have been a tasty landing for Buzz Aldrin? And is this funhouse of a political scandal that has Rachel Maddow popping neck veins and Sean Spicer hiding in the bushes all because of an alleged pee-pee tape? Or is that tape a metaphor for Trump and the Russians taking the piss out of all of us? Subscribe to Newsbroke right now. You think I do this for free? I come in here, day of news break, and I do all things. I research, we write. You think this is easy? This is difficult. Subscribe right now. Do it.
That was really funny. That was amazing.
Okay.